All right, how we doing? How's everybody going? How's it going? Good? Yeah, all right. So hello, my name is Clint. I'm from our tribal. We're youth marketing, so we help brands attract and engage young consumers, people like yourself. Spent a lot of time with a lot of big brands from around the country, working with them on developing, helping them be more authentic inside youth culture. We do work with a wide variety of brands, but I will tell you that in the past year, my favorite client we've worked with has been the Chamber of Commerce and the branding effort that's been happening around Lincoln. You know, we're really proud to be from Lincoln. We like that our shop is here, but a lot of people wonder why we're here. You know, we work with someone from Red Bull. They're always like, why aren't you in Santa Monica or someplace cooler? You know, as we sort of looked around the country, you know, here's where Nebraska's at, right? I mean, we can be pretty honest. We're in the middle, right? And if you look around the rest of the U.S., you know, these are what's considered to the rest of the country the cool places. You know, it's in Portland or Austin or New York or even Santa Monica. These are the places that the national perspective is, that's where things are happening. That's where business is happening. That's where the young entrepreneurs and startups are happening. They don't really think about Lincoln. And so in order to get people from these points to Nebraska, we have to overcome a really huge hurdle, right? We try to hire developers and designers that are world class. And these are just some of the comments that we received in the past couple of years. Let me go through this. We asked someone from Portland to move to Nebraska to come work for a great design shop. She says, I can't really see myself there. There's someone in Santa Monica just says, oh, wait, you're in Lincoln. Can any way I can work for you freelance, like from California? Even the guy in Miami said, you guys are in Nebraska? Seriously? Like, they couldn't believe that we actually had a design shop in Lincoln, Nebraska. What? You know, do you have any other offices? And then this person in the middle says, I just can't live in Nebraska, sorry. He's from Kansas City. You know, now that's pretty bad, right, when we got to that level. And I couldn't believe it. We got turned down like that. And I was like, you know, what's going on here? And so for a long time at our tribal, we've been thinking about this. What's going on? And if you look through the history and you think about Nebraska, everyone's being taught one story about Nebraska. It's an agricultural story. Now, we're very proud of that. I mean, there's a lot of great reasons. That's driving the state of Nebraska. And we should be very proud about our agricultural heritage, right? There's a lot of great qualities that come from that. But the problem is that we're only telling one story. We haven't been able to tell the other side, that there's great people with great ideas that are living here and doing things that are changing the world. We haven't told that side of the story. And of course, so, you know, it's not surprising that no one believes us. Now, we haven't exactly helped ourselves. Our marketing's been terrible from a state standpoint. I mean, this is the kind of look that we've given people, okay? So, of course, what do you think? There's a bunch of hicks in Nebraska. I mean, that's very believable. If you go Google Nebraska, these are the kind of images you get. I mean, really? A toilet on a hay bale? I couldn't even make that up. Like, that's probably like, you know. And then whenever we do get on TV, you have ESPN's out there, you know, showing what they think their perception of Nebraska is, which is just cornfields. And then even when CNN Money, they did this thing on Good Times and the Big O, you're not even like 20 seconds in and they're showing cows, right? So, you know, the national perspective here has kind of come along. Again, we haven't helped ourselves. This is from our tourism department. This is our tourism department. Come to Nebraska, visit Nebraska, then you can do awesome stuff here. Okay, so you get it. Now, this morning, I Googled Lincoln, Nebraska. This is the very first website that comes up. The very first website. I'm pretty sure it was made like in 91. I don't even know. Like, it was look at this is horrible. And this is how we're marketing ourselves. This is how we're putting ourselves out there. So, you know, don't be surprised. I did this too. I Googled this. This was things to do in Lincoln, Nebraska. I just went to images. And this is the very first one. It's sort of this desolate, you know, Capitol building. I'm sure the governor's having a party up there, but no one can see it, right? I mean, no one can actually see it. Here's this image number 2. Again, lonely street with some dark, shadowy figure in the back. We have a train. That's number 3. Number 4 is this conference room that no one's in. Yeah, and number 5 is we'd like to work out, but we're too fat and lazy. There's nobody even in here. Those are the first 5. In fact, you've got to go to like number 8 where you actually get to some of the people are doing. Does that look like a good time? I don't even know. I'm not even sure if they're moving, you know? Like, you know. And then there's this last one, which is number 9, this woman looking at her lonely reflection in a window. Okay, this is the top 10 of what things to do in Lincoln, Nebraska, all right? So we're at a serious disadvantage here. We got things we got to change. I went on a trip recently. The guy looked at the airport security guard, looked at my ID and literally said to me, Nebraska, That's basically a flatter Kansas with more corn, right? And all I could say was, yeah, you got me. That's what it is. So anyway, so we have a serious problem here, and we're all part of it. If we want to get new businesses here and new jobs, we've got to work together. Now, I'm thankful that the Chamber of Commerce stepped up to the plate and said, it's time to do something about this. And all of you have been a part of this. Now, everyone knows that Lincoln's sort of like in this crossroads right now, right? The time is now. Even with Nebraska, University of Nebraska moving to the Big Ten, and, with the development of the West Haymarket, and, last summer there was like 7 cranes. I mean, the time is now. I mean, if we're ever going to change that national perspective, we got to unify. We got to do it right now. I'm starting to see that creative people are actually starting to stay a little bit more. The ideas are starting to come back. Things are happening. Now, when we were asked to brand Lincoln, I got to tell you, we've done a lot of branding for companies, but we've never branded a city. I don't even know how to go about that. And so we had to figure it out. How do you go about branding a city? We quickly realized that a brand is really more than just the logo for a city. It's the people and the places and the things they do. It's the events that happen there. And think about anywhere you've ever been. If I say Miami or Denver or San Francisco, the images that pop up in your head are the people, the places, and the things they do. Okay, and you saw what our visuals are of the people, places, and things they do, right? We're not doing a good job of that. So how does that stuff start to come to life? We started thinking about it in this terms. We said, it's the government policies that we have. It's the organizations we have. It's the businesses that choose to do business here. It's our architecture and urban planning. All of these things start to really signify our brand of the city. And, we have a little section there called visual identity, doing a logo for a city. That plays a small role, but really, I don't know if it matters, right? And so the brand has to be a lot bigger than that. Now, we did come up with a brand. Everyone's seen it, been working on this for a while. I'm pretty excited about it. I think that, I like to think of the Lincoln sort of the star city, and I like to think of this as our new star. It's got 5 points, and this is something that we can rally behind. Really, a brand, I've come to realize, a brand for a community is just an organizational system. I mean, it can look cool and it can be whatever, but what we really want is just a system that we can all point to and go, yes, I'm a part of this. I get to be a part of this. I have a system that I can dial in my business or my organization or my church. We can be a part of this larger thing. And so as you see here, these are all sort of, renderings of ideas that we want to put together and do. And even something as simple as having cool T-shirts that we can all wear in our shirt that someone says, what is that about? You can reflect and go, I live in Lincoln. Now, when we came up with this brand, the Chamber is pretty honest about this and said, look, we can't just own the brand. This has to be a brand for everybody. Okay? And so we developed a system that allows anybody's organization, business, church, whatever, to be a part of. And so let's say that you're the library system and you want to be a part of this campaign. You get to be. You can do a Read Lincoln. Or you're an arts organization, you do Create Lincoln. Or maybe you're the Children's Museum, you can do a Play Lincoln. Okay? So anybody can find a way to tap into this system and use it. And so if you're a bunch of businesses, you want to get together and rally around a little neighborhood community, you can still do a shop in Lincoln. The system that we developed, while red is sort of our main color, we developed a whole system of colors that allows any brand, color system to be a part of this. So if you're like, oh, our company's kind of purplish, well, that's okay. You can be a part of this too. It's a wide open sort of democratic system that allows anyone to be a part of it. We also thought about the brand in dimensional form. We thought these really cool bike racks and things like that. You might see these start to pop up in the next few years. I keep pushing it out there, so hopefully eventually it pops up. The idea is to rally everybody together, to make this happen. The Chamber is sort of driving this thing, but really, if you think about it, we got to get the architects in on this and the developers. And I've been doing this roadshow now for about a year, where we're going to the biggest businesses and we're getting the mayor involved and the university and the event organizations and the advertising agencies, try to get the Journal-Star involved. We're the Lincoln Parks and Rec. We're trying to get everybody pulled together. I got to tell you, I've looked at the branding that other cities have done across the country, even internationally, and all of them stop short. They all do this really cool logo and they stop short. What we're doing is going to be a case study on how to redefine branding a city, because we're getting everybody involved, okay? Including you guys and all the organizations you're a part of. So you're going to start to see the new websites. If you look at the top 5 websites now, they were pretty bad, but now you're going to start to see these ones. The Chamber's sort of leading the charge here. So the conventions and leadership bureaus are going to look like there's things to do here. The young professionals group, you guys desperately need a new website, right? I mean, it's pretty bad. And so, we're designing that, and that should launch here in a few months. We've been talking a while about this Lincoln app. I know there's a real drive to get a Lincoln app. I've seen all the apps that other cities have, And for a city our size, when we're done, we're going to have an app that rivals all of them. And so if you want to find something to do in Lincoln, Nebraska, it's going to be so easy to do it. And if you're trying to convince your friend in Chicago, or if you're at a university and you're trying to recruit someone from New York, they're going to say, what's going on in Nebraska? You're going to be able to show them and prove it to them with great photos and great imagery. Now, this is the world, right? I mean, it's sort of full of this noise, okay? And to actually overcome that noise, to get Lincoln, Nebraska inserted into the mindset of consumers, it's a pretty difficult challenge. It's not like we have a ton of money. So we came up with all these great ideas that we could do to sort of overcome that. And you've seen some of them happening. You heard about the seasonal signage, right? So that was an idea that inspired by, you see these graffiti artists and stuff in New York. There's a new type of graffiti, and it's sort of like making new signs that look like real government signs, but really they're fake. And so we did that, right? We did it for the 4th of July last year that kind of helped launch that. And we created all these really cool signs like, home of the land of the we, home of the yay. And we just put those up. And instantly when people saw those, they started wondering, well, where's the next one? And where's the next one? And there's a curiosity factor of suddenly exploring downtown that started to happen. I like this one. It says, watch for snakes. I got to tell you, someone actually called and complained that they thought there were snakes, like real snakes, And I was like, that's perfect. Like, that's so good. In just 2 weeks' time, for a small amount of money, this got up on Reddit, and which is sort of front page of the internet. And within just 2 weeks, we ended up getting 12.5 million views on this. And if you go look at the comments, you can go look at them after this if you want. You're going to see comments like, I wish my city was doing that. This is my first impression of Lincoln. How cool. Things like that from young people that you never would have heard before. These are cheap ideas that can go around that system of typical advertising that we can pull off. And together we can start to advertise it. Now we got pretty excited about it. We did it again for Halloween. So you may have we did all these in the neighborhood, sort of in suburbia of Lincoln, so you could see these. These are kind of cool. And I really like that one, the Frankenstein. Yeah. So you're going to start to see this pop up. I think this might be sort of an annual thing. We'll kind of pick these kind of weird and interesting holidays and with a sponsor to come behind it and do it. It's pretty cheap for the impact it gets. Now, most recently, there was just sort of this big push to beat the Lincoln Logs. I'm proud to say, that's the former world record holder for the structure with the most Lincoln Logs and the tallest structure. And of course, just a couple weekends ago, you guys helped break the world record for Lincoln Logs, again, putting us on the map in these really interesting and weird ways. Other things to come, though, we're working. You ever read the Da Vinci Code book or seen the National Treasure movies? Despite Nicolas Cage being in them, right? I really enjoy these kind of things. If you think about it, when you're racing around like Amazing Race, that's really like tourism, right? It's a way to explore a community in a city. We're going to do that, okay? We're bringing these Lincoln Adventures where there's going to be these mysteries that you've got to solve and sort of like a riddle that will take you around to the coolest parts of Lincoln maybe you haven't even seen. It'll be perfect for a weekend date, a family outing, or even a business can get together and do this sort of as a employee experience. So there's like the house on every Christmas that has the music and the lights that are going really crazy, and you go listen to it and you're like, wow, it's amazing what like one person can accomplish. Okay, we started thinking, we thought, what if an entire city did it? Like, what if we took the Capitol building and we did where we created to music the biggest light show ever done? That would be amazing, and instantly again put us on the map. The lunch concerts we did last year are going to start again in May. Which we're pretty excited about, a co-sponsor with Here in Nebraska. And these are bands that are not like guy banging on the buckets, right? I mean, this is like really good bands. And you guys should go and support them and listen to them. Like normally you'd pay money to go hear them, and here you get to hear them for free. I always like to have a couple ideas that are a little wild. This is the city zip line. Originally wanted to do this off the new arena. Because here's the thing. Whenever you bring people to Lincoln, what's our signature item? What's the one thing that you got to do? Right now, I think it's probably take them to Laszlo's, right? I mean, I don't know what else, what's the one? What's the one? I don't know what it is. Anyway, so we thought we need a new one. I love Laszlo's, but we need something else. And so we thought, what if we do this zip line, sort of Batman style, that goes through the city? Well, right now we're trying to identify the right locations, but we're excited about it. Now, in every wedding photo, you're going to see a skyline of Lincoln. I'm sure this is in many of your wedding photos. And if you're like me, you might have always wondered, what the hell is that? What is that, right? We don't know. No one knows. No one knows, but it's in every photo, okay? And it's this big, ugly tower that's like something you'd see on Lost, It's like really old. Anyway, we're trying to work with Windstream. If you know anyone there, you can help us here, to get them to do something with this. Now, the reason is it's not really used the way it used to be. It's just too expensive to take down, okay? And that's a really dumb reason to still have a blight on a city skyline. So here's what we want to do. We want to keep it up there, but let's change it. Let's wrap it. Let's make it artistic. Let's do something new. Let's put our star up there or make it an artistic spire. Let's get our architects involved and come up with new ideas that we could do with this thing. I'm certain that we pull together, we can have something that's pretty amazing. Okay, we have this idea called Happy Trails. We have a great bike system and running system. Let's get out there and put these messages. This is something I saw in another city. But we go out there, and if you want to sponsor this, go out there and help enhance the bike running and the bike trails. We can do these really fun messages that occur that are actually on the trails. Real gardening is the idea of overnight, we change something radically. Let me give you an example. Last summer, we went to every pothole in downtown Lincoln and filled it with dirt and one flower. Yeah, and in the morning when everyone came, there's all these really weird flowers. It felt odd. It was just this beautiful little thing in a concrete jungle. And it made people happy. For just the morning, it made people happy. Taken all together, I sort of look at this and say, this is a great quote. I think the door has been kicked open and change is coming. I'm telling you, we do all these things together. I think change is coming. We feel it because we're from here. But we start doing other things together, we can really push it out. All right, last piece I want to talk to you about today is that the Chamber's been driving this, but in order to make this a success, it can't just be one organization. It has to be everybody. It has to be the places that you work at. And so we're starting to see that happen. The first one is you need to activate. I'm telling you, we have about 100 ideas that you can activate on to be a part of this campaign. And it's just, you're in charge of it. It's on your shoulders. You're seeing other people do it. Mike Smith at Bay 198 is doing a mini X Games there with the Lincoln brand. All these companies are starting to be involved. Firespring did a pretty cool video that tied back to Lincoln. Even most recently, the running company did the Run for Boston and utilized the city branding. This is great because when everyone starts to see this nationally, we're all working together towards the same thing. Second one I want to tell you is that you need to embrace small fires. There's all sorts of these cool underground artistic things that are happening that just you should embrace. This is my friend Gina. She does a girls' bike night. And they dress up in costume, and every Thursday night or something, they just go out and ride around. And it's super weird, but it's awesome at the same time. It just makes Lincoln very cool, okay? And so we need to embrace these small things. These are happening all over. This is Colonel Mustard, the play. Maybe some have gone to this, right? Have you heard about these plays? They basically they just do these amazing plays for the last 5 years in rundown areas of the city, okay? And you should, if you have a chance, watch for these. Go check them out and go watch one of these plays. It'll blow your mind, and it's such a cool event. We're seeing secret dinners start to pop up, sort of secret restaurants. Lincoln Calling is starting to get a bigger following. You should embrace these types of things. The third thing is transform space. There's plenty of buildings that are out there that are just sitting empty that need you to go in and transform it, okay? So I did this is my house. It was a rundown grocery store when I got it. It was a small community grocery store, and I turned this last 10 years into a really sweet space to live in. Now, there's these kind of spaces all over. They're just waiting for young people to move in and change. The fourth one is you need to brag. We've got some pretty awesome venues here in Lincoln. Pinewood Bowl, the theater is pretty awesome. The New West Haymarket Arena is coming along. We've got to brag about this. As people, we're a bit humble, and that's good, except it can also hurt us. So we've got to find the right balance for that. Surprise people when they come to town. One thing I always try to do is when we have people from out of town come visit us, we try to make sure that their experience here is amazing and awesome. Do that because that's basically helping fuel the energy for the city. And then go and support. So you help get the West Haymarket there. When it gets done, you got to go. We got to go and support this thing. It has to be a success, as the government is saying. We got to make this work. This means so much for the state of Nebraska and for the city of Lincoln, and really for the future of all of us. If we want to make a city that we want to keep living in, we need these kind of things. And then the last one is, I just want to say, you got to take the risk. All of the things we're talking about here in branding Lincoln and making it awesome, it's risk, and it's on your shoulders. You can wait for the government to do something. You can wait for the chamber to do something. You just got to do it. It's on you. It's on your shoulders. And so the one message you got to take away from here is get excited about this and go do something and tap into this larger campaign. All right, thank you for your time. I hope to see you out there somewhere. Thank you.